So today's Saturday, and it's the beginning of Passover. Passover actually starts this evening at sundown. And you say, what is Passover and what does it have to do with our faith? Well, Passover is huge, and Jesus was Jewish. And so much of the Old Testament had to do with Passover. Our faith, Christianity, it's Abrahamic, it's stems from a Jewish faith. So the Jewish God is our God. And so it has a lot to do with everything that we believe. And so today, let's talk about Passover. What is Passover? Well, in Revelation, it talks about Passover, Jesus being the Passover lamb over 40 times. In John, as he begins to baptize and Jesus shows up on the scene, it says, behold, the Lamb of God. Why do we call Jesus the Lamb? Well, if we go back 3,500 years ago when the Jewish people were enslaved in Egypt, what they would have to do in order to make it as far as the last straw, they would have to grab a lamb. They were told to grab a lamb and kill the lamb and take the blood from that lamb and put it in a basin. And they would take it, put it in the basin, and they were told in order for their firstborn not to die, they would have to take the blood that was in that basin and put it over their doorposts and their lintels, and then the death would roll over and pass over their house. And if they didn't take that blood and put it over their lintel and their door, it would not pass over, and their firstborn would die. And so from that moment on, all the Jewish people would celebrate Passover, and we do as well. So this is our Passover week. And so a lot of people, they believe Jesus. They believe in Jesus. But just like in that basin, the blood is there. Jesus is there. And we kind of have a relationship sometimes, or some people have a relationship with Jesus from afar. Well, just like the blood in that basin, if the blood isn't applied to the doorposts and the lintels, there is no keeping death from passing over. Just like with Jesus, we need to make him closer. We need to bring him closer to us. We can't just know of Jesus. We have to know Jesus in such a way. Jesus is our Passover lamb, and everything happens in this holy week during Passover week. And so tonight on Saturday at sundown, in just a few hours, begins Passover.